For our third classroom video, here we are with an iPhone, and Google Classroom is quite nice on the iPhone. It's probably easy to navigate in many ways. The one big caveat is you have to refresh. That 3-finger flick down to refresh gesture that everyone's so used to making in Mail and other apps is quite important here because phones, of course, are designed to be mobile, and therefore they sometimes work offline. And what happens is the Classroom app on your iPhone will keep a copy of the content cached in its own memory. And what you want to do is pull down to refresh and get a copy off the website, as it were. So the 3 sections of the classroom that we talked about in all the other videos, the stream, the classwork, and the people, are in typical iPhone fashion tabs along the bottom, as you would expect to find in most apps.
Selected. Stream tab. 1 of 3.
That's the first one.
Classwalk.
That's the second one, although why you can't say work, I don't know.
People.
And that's your third. So I'm just flicking left and right between those tabs. You start off on the stream. I think it's probably easier to use the stream on the phone because things appear in date order. So if we go to the top,
Menu button.
there's a menu button, which is where instantly you would go to change your classroom. If you've got more than one child in a different school or different classes with different accounts, that's how you would switch between them.
About button. BP UK Accessibility Demo Class.
That's a heading with our class title.
Share something with your class. Ellipsis button.
That's where you would post an announcement. So if you wanted to announce something yourself, this button, incidentally, is always on the sort of top center of the screen if you need to press it when you're halfway down the feed. And a further flick will give us our
New assignment. 9 times table questions. Posted 14. 11. Options. Add class comment button. New assignment.
So it's several flicks per class, as you can per assignment. Sorry, as you can see. I was simply flicking left to right with one finger through those. This one
New assignment.
is the English one.
Highwayman. Post option. Add class comment.
And that's
button.
your comment button for that assignment. And then here,
New material. What is material?
this is information about material.
Posted 13. Options. Add class comment.
And finally, we'll get to an announcement here. This is a heading.
Announcement. Sean Randall. 13. Edited 13. 2. This is an announcement on the class. Normally, teachers and other students can make announcements, and in our primary school experience, they are used for the teacher to outline the structure of the day or for students to ask questions as the school day progresses.
Now, these are the only thing on this stream that are headings. So if you do have your heading navigation, you can flick between these quite easily. However, bear in mind, you will miss anything between that aren't announcements. So if you've got assignments and you're looking at headings, you won't see them because they don't show up as headings. So just bear that in mind. The announcements are headings, but nothing else is. Let us tap on an assignment.
New assignment. The Highwayman.
So this is a poem, and
Back button.
I've double tapped. I'm in the view now with this assignment.
Options. Due tomorrow.
I'm flicking to the
The
right,
Highwayman. 100 points.
and you can hear it's quite similar to what you heard on the previous video if you listen to that one on the computer.
Add class comment. Listen to the poem The Highwayman. Open the free flow thought file and jot down your thoughts and impressions as you hear the poem.
I did spell poem right, honestly. It's just the voice. Don't think I'm completely illiterate. I don't know why he called it a poem. It sounds quite interesting.
Attachments. Heading.
So here we have a heading for the attachments, and there are several here. So
The Highwayman. MP3. Students can view file.
that's the
button.
audio.
The Highwayman. Docs.
That's a Word document.
The Highwayman by Alfred Noyes Vertical Line Poetry Foundation.
That's a link to the website. I put all these on so you could get a flavour of all the different types of attachment you might come across. And then
Expand your work section. Button.
this is the button you press to open up
Your work.
your work. And this is Kim's copy.
Kim Priest. Free flow thoughts on the Highwayman. Students can view file.
As I showed you, it says students can view file here, but it only means you. Don't worry, it doesn't mean everybody. And as I showed you, this is the one you would open to actually work on to answer the questions. So, if I were doing this as a student, I may well find it easier to listen to the poem on my mobile whilst typing the answers into my laptop. Editing a document in Docs is a whole another video with an iPhone. It's quite straightforward on the keyboard, the computer keyboard, because you've got a whole keyboard. But we'll maybe talk about that some other time. But this is where you would go to edit that document as well.
Delete button.
That will let you delete the attachment.
Add attachment.
And this is where you would go. It's that attachment button. Like I talked about before, if you're working with your child and they've done something handwritten or hand-drawn, this add attachment option is where you would go to photograph that work. So to add a piece of paper, as it were, to an assignment that a teacher has set us, we tap on the assignment on the phone, tap on the expand your work section, tap on add assignment. No, we don't. We tap on add attachment, and here we have options.
Drive button.
So that's Google Drive.
Link button.
That's a link to another website.
File button.
That's a file.
Pick photo button.
That lets us pick from a library.
Use camera button.
And obviously that lets us take a picture.
Dystopia.
Sorry, that was a notification. I apologize. So that's how you attach handwritten work to your Google assignments, which is, I think, certainly for the younger children, what tends to happen. We have had a mixture of typing and handwritten assignments, so it does vary. The thing about Google Docs and things, which I should have mentioned in my last video as well, is that they don't need saving. They're always saved. So I regularly get people emailing me and saying, how do I save my work? And of course, with Google, everything's in the cloud, so it's already saved for you. I think that's pretty much it for Classroom on the phone. Obviously, we could go into the detail of using Docs or other apps. The same thing applies with the maths quiz. If I go back out of here, by pressing the back button, and I need to go back again, don't I? Because I've come out of my work now and I'm back in the English assignment. So let's go back there, and let's tap on the maths.
New assignment. 9 times table question.
So again, the attachment here is a Google form.
Due to 9 times, what add class can't answer the questions in the attached quiz.
So again, if you know it's a heading,
attachments, heading.
You can move to the next heading on your phone screen using your rotor,
9 times table
if you know how.
Quiz form.
And there's our quiz form.
Alert, open with, heading.
And it wants to know what to open it with because, like I said before, Google Classroom doesn't really do much on its own. It's just a series of organized links, really. So if we just choose to open it with our default browser,
edit this form.
It's opened in Safari. And similarly to what I got on the laptop, I can
9 times table
use my heading navigation.
True or false. 9 9s are 81. Heading level 3. List 0 points. True. Radio button. Unticked. False. Radio button. Unticked.
I can double tap on any of those to tick them. Next question.
What is 5 times 9? Heading level
And this,
3.
if you remember before, is a question you have to answer by typing the answer
0
in.
point. What is 5 times 9? Text field.
So I could double tap that and bring up my keyboard to write the answer. So when you're learning about Classroom, don't panic. You're learning about Classroom, but you're also having to learn about all the other Google apps that go along with it. So I am now in Google Forms because I've tapped on a quiz. But hopefully that's been enough of a brief overview. It's quite simple on the phone. The classwork tab, I'll show you very briefly.
Classroom, add private comment.
Let's go back out of there.
Classwalk tab.
Tap on that.
Selected menu. BP UK accessibility demo class heading. Filter by topic button.
So this is how we can choose our English or maths.
Double tap to cancel. Filter by top maths button. English button.
As you see,
English button.
the topics are made by teachers, so you can only filter by what they've used, obviously.
Menu. Filter your work button. Material. What is material?
So this lets you view the material that's not in any sort of topic.
Topic maths with 1 item. Heading.
And again, these are nicely structured. So if we wanted to go straight past this, we could use our heading navigation on the iPhone, which is part of the rotor.
Topic English with 1 item.
Straight past
heading.
all the maths.
Assignment. The Highwayman. Due the 24th of January. 23:59 button.
Okay.
Stream tab.
And that's it, really. So that's just a list of assignments. I didn't show you how to hand it in, though, did I? That was a bit of an oversight. Tap on the English.
Options button. Alert. Report abuse. Report abuse.
How do I hand this in? I haven't handed in on the phone before. Oh dear.
The Highway 100. Add class.
So let's see.
Open the free attachments.
Attachments.
Expand your work. Assigned button. Add private. Add private. Assigned.
Do I tap that?
Your work. Assigned. Kim Priest. Delete. Add attachment. Hand in.
There we go. We've already been here. So next to the add attachment screen button on that your work screen is a hand in button. So, and this is really quite good. You can submit attachments as often as you like, add as many as you want, and hand them in at the end. And in our final video, we'll look at the marking system and how you get work back. And I will show you that even after you've had work returned, you can then look at what you've done with teachers' comments or corrections and everything, which is pretty cool, actually. But the phone app is quite nice. It's quite simple. It's very logical. There is a lot of going back. So from this screen, from the Your Work section of the English assignment, we've got to go back to the English assignment, then back to the list of assignments, and so on and so on. So there's a lot of inning and outing on the phone app. But it's quite nice and quite straightforward to use. And I hope this has been a helpful way of you seeing a little bit about how